Welcome all students. Today we start the second chapter of plant physiology. Name of the chapter is absorption of water. First of all, we see the first point in the chapter, role of water in plants. We see one by one different role of water in plants. First role is role of water as a medium of fertilization in primitive plant. We know the example of primitive plant is algae, fungi, bryophytes, pteridophytes. Okay, also called as a lower group of the plant. It required the water at the time of fertilization for the transfer of male gamete towards the female gamete. Means carry the gametes. It required the water. This is the main role of the water in the plant. The second is role of water to keep root hair and leaves in a stiff and rigid condition. We know that tip of the root having a presence of root hair which is responsible for absorption of water and minerals, and this root hair is always stiff and rigid condition because of cell of the root hair which is having a presence of water. Similar in a leaf which is the responsible photosynthesis, which is always in stiff and rigid condition because of the all the cells of the leaf having a presence of water, and because of water the cell of leaf is also stiff and rigid in condition. Okay. Third role of water in transporting minerals from the soil into the roots. We know that plant required water, minerals for its growth and development, and these minerals generally present in the soil. But plant absorb these minerals when these minerals dissolve in the water or dissolve form in the soil. Means here is the water is responsible for dissolve the minerals in the soil, then plant absorb these minerals for its growth and development. Then the next role is the role of water in transporting food material in a plant. We know that plant is autotrophic living organism. It produces its own food material with the help of photosynthesis, and this produced food material generate the carbohydrate means glucose transfer from green part to another part of the plant through the phloem in a dissolved form. Means this food material glucose dissolve in the water, then transfer in the plant body. Okay. In the next role of water in metabolic activity of the cell. We know the different metabolic activity of the carried out in the cell of the plant, and this metabolic activity generally process in the cytoplasm of the plant. We know that the cytoplasm of the cell is made up by the 90% of water. Means water is responsible for different metabolic activities. Okay. Then the next role of water in photosynthesis. We know the process of photosynthesis. Plant produces its own food material with the help of chlorophyll, sunlight. Okay, and produce its own food material is in the form of glucose means carbohydrate. Okay, and we know that for this reaction, okay, water is main role. Means water breakdown releases H plus ion, and this H plus ion reduce the CO2. Then CO2 convert into the carbohydrate. I mean, this is one of the main role of water in a photosynthesis. Okay, role of water in opening and closing of stomata. This is one of the physiological process carried out in the plant release the water is in the form of water vapors through the stomata called as a transpiration, and this stomata is made up by the two guard cell, and this guard cell when presence of water, okay, it changes structure. Okay, then stomata is open. When guard cell having a minimum water, then it responsible for closing and closing the stomata. Means when water is responsible for the opening and closing of the stomata. Okay, then the next role is the role of water in cooling the plant body. Okay, we discuss in a seventh role. The plant release the water is in the form of water vapors. When water is removed is in the form of water vapors, finally it decrease the temperature inside the plant body. Okay, means water is responsible for cooling the plant cell and means plant body. And the last role is the role of water in germination of seed. We know that when we sowing the seed in the soil, okay, these seed absorb the water with the help of imbibition. Okay, and when water imbibes the seeds, then seed is swollen and finally it break down the seed coat, and this after the break down the seed coat, then this water is also responsible or activate the different metabolic process in the seed, and this is finally responsible for the germination of the seed. This is the some topic we see this some topic under the role of water in the plants. Then we're going towards the next important topic, okay, which is the absorption of water. First of all, we see the what is meant by the absorption of water. Means the definition of absorption of water. Absorption of water means uptake of water by plant is called as a absorption of water. Means uptake of the water by the plant means generally the root air means root. This simple process is called as a absorption of water. Then plant absorb water from the soil through the root hair. Means which part of the plant? Here is the in figure we see the different part of the plant. Only the root and root hair is responsible for absorption of waters. Okay, and the water is said to be the liquid gold of the life. Water having a many role in a plant body, so it is called as just like the gold. So water is said to be a liquid gold of a life. Not only the plant, for generally for all living organism. Plant are capable of absorbing water from the soil solution. Okay, means plant is capable to absorb the water from a soil solution. In first topic in this chapter, we see the minerals is dissolved in the water in the soil. Then this mixture form of the water means water and the minerals is absorbed through the root hair for the plant for its growth and development. Mainly absorb capillary water means only absorb capillary water, the water which is present around the soil particle, which is generally called as the capillary water. Okay, and this water, okay, is absorbed by the plant. Okay, plant also absorb dissolved nutrient along with the water. Okay, means plant absorb the nutrient is a dissolved form. When nutrient present in dissolved form, that nutrient is absorbed by the plant. Means in this topic we see the what is meant by the absorption of water. Okay, then root hair is actually responsible for absorption of water. So the next slide we see the actual structure of the root hair. Okay, before the structure of root hair, first of all we see the site of water absorption. Okay, site of water absorption is the root hair. Water is mainly absorbed of root hair, means water is absorbed by the root hair, and the root hair is generally present above the root cap. When we see the figure at the lower side, there is the figure of the root. Lower side, the root cap, meristematic region, zone of elongation, root hair zone, maturation zone. Means the root hair is present above the root cap or first part of the root. Okay, located in a group just above the root cap. This area reaching root hair is called as a root hair zone. The area of tip of the root where having a large amount of root hair generally called as a root hair zone. Okay, we see the in detail typical root hair. This is the structure of the root hair. Outer side, this is the cell wall, cell membrane, vacuole, then the root hair, presence of the cytoplasm having a nucleus. Means generally the root hair is a single cell. Root hair is the single cell. We see the point one by one. Billion of root hairs in the root system of the plant. Means root system of the plants having a billions of root hairs. Root hairs are tubular hair-like projection of the epidermal cell. This is the simple projection of epidermal cell of the root. Single cell root hair generally which is the projection of epidermal cell. Each root hair is a single cell. Then the root hair are 0.5 to 1 centimeter in length and 10 micron in diameter. Okay, then when we see in detail the structure of root hair is modified epidermal cell. Okay, it is a modified single epidermal cell. The wall of the root hair is permeable to water. It is made up of cellulose and pectin substances. Means the root hair, you know the role of root hair, which is absorb the water. Then for the absorption of water, the root hair, outer membrane of the root hair is made up by the cellulose and pectic substances, which is the hydrophilic. This substance is the hydrophilic, means which is responsible to absorb the water. And finally it is important for the absorption of water by a root hair. Next cell wall, there is a plasma membrane. Means next cell wall of the root hair is a plasma membrane enclosing cytoplasm. Means after the cell wall there is a presence of cell membrane, means the plasma membrane. This plasma membrane enclose the cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm contain the large area is the vacuole and the presence of the nucleus. Okay, vacuole is filled with a cell sap whose water potential is more negative than the soil solution. Role of the vacuole is a presence of large amount of cell sap. It having a water potential is negative, means minimum amount of water present in a vacuole. And we study in FIBSC, okay, water flow from its higher concentration to the lower concentration in the soil. Outside the root air, soil having a high amount of water, this water transfer from high concentration towards the low concentration. Where is low concentration? In vacuole through the plasma membrane. Means this is one of the role of vacuole, means the root hair for absorption of water. Okay, this is